So, of course, Brian Crawford, was invited to host an open mic in the Pittsburgh area because they're always looking for top-end talents, fantastic hosts to come in and save the day.
Hosting is a talent.
And that is Christine Marie. Let's welcome her to the studio. She is here as well.
Hello.
Woo!
We're here with Christine Marie, Brian Crawford, Jay Cooper. Hosting is a talent, you're right. I was invited to host at Howard's, and a fantastic thing happened to me. You're listening to River Talk. This is the River's Edge Radio Network, Pittsburgh's voice for local music, broadcasting out of Mr. Small's Theater at riversedgepgh.com. I was picked to be the host for Howard's Pub in a back-to-back River's Edge-sponsored series of open mics down there. And I told a story that I told on air a little bit ago. You may remember the story. It's a story where I had a fantastic intro to my show. An unbelievable intro. It was probably the best intro I had given all year. It was on a Sunday, so you weren't here, Jay.
Okay.
It had to deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Neil Huntington telling people that they'll spend more money on the team when they start showing up. And I basically started the show off where I was trying to sell snake oil and all sorts of interesting things that aren't real to basically con the audience. And I gave them a number where they could call in and give us their credit card information.
Okay.
But we have the smartest audience in radio, so of course no one was willing to give me their credit card information. And then I continued into a parody of Ronald Reagan's Tear Down This Wall speech.
I remember that speech.
It was a great, great intro.
Yeah.
I could feel the energy. I was in the zone. It was great. I was so energetic and so excited to find out that none of it aired and none of it recorded.
Wow.
So I had to blow off some steam.
Damn.
I take a walk. I'm out there walking. If you remember the story, I ran into this old man walking his little dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my cell phone out as I'm walking because I was just trying to communicate with someone. I was stressed out. And he says as I pass him, "Oh, could you live without that thing?" I responded by turning around, flipping the old man off, and saying, "Fuck you." So he makes some sort of comment back about asking a question, and I told him, "I got a spot right here on my ass reserved for you, so pucker up." I told him to fuck off again and walk away. I told this story at Howard's. Everyone's loving it. They loved the speech. I gave the parody of the Ronald Reagan speech. Everyone loved it. Maybe I'll tell it someday on this show. It hasn't come across the airwaves yet because of the technical issue.
Right.
But it turns out that the old man himself, that old bastard, was sitting in the bar. He's at the other end of the counter because I know everybody who was there at the bar because when you're a big shot like me, everyone knows who you are. You know how that is. So, so I'm there, and people come up afterwards. They say, "The old man at the other end of the bar," he said, "I think he's talking about me." And as I continued the story and I mentioned the colorful description of my ass being prepared for him to pucker up, he then responded, "He is talking about me." But he walked out instead of confronting me. So my question is, Jay, you tell lots of stories, and we have entertainer and fortune teller Christine Marie in studio. You both tell stories. I'm sure some of the people listening in the audience are entertainers. We probably have the biggest audience in Pittsburgh of local entertainers on the radio.
I would say so.
That's
So
nice.
the
Good for
question
you.
That'd be a
is,
fair assessment.
Congratulations.
have
Thank you.
any of you had that experience where you tell a story, you tell a joke about someone where you're just trashing them
Yes.
and they're there in the audience?
Oh, yeah.
So what happened?
Okay. One of my favorite jokes that Howie likes me to tell is the CNA joke. Now, you have heard me do that CNA joke, I think.
Okay.
The one where I trash them about, knowing the difference between a CNA and a registered nurse because, well, CNAs make less money, and I was looking for dating a nurse who was making some real money, So when I said that, because I would say, okay, you make $16, like I throw a number in there, like, oh, you make $13, $14 an hour, I make 10, we put our money together, guess what, we still broke, So a lot of them, there's a lot of CNAs in the crowd. Every time I tell that joke, they're like, no.
They're pissed.
Oh, yeah, they're pissed.
Now, what do they say? Do they say anything to you? Do they confront you?
Sometimes after the show,
they didn't put their tail between their legs like this old man at Howard's Pub.
No. They were very vocal about it. They
vocal.
either talked about it during my set, or they pulled me to the side after I was done, and it was like, you wrong for that, But it's funny, and there's some partial truth to it. I mean, registered nurses make more money than CNAs, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
And
it depends on what you're doing too. Like if you dedicate yourself to taking care of one human being you might be paid a lot for that.
Right.
Versus, other CNAs who do a lot of paperwork or whatever, there's a bigger variation than there is with a registered nurse.
I'm talking just on a financial basis.
I agree with you, and I'm saying
registered nurses. I ain't talking about the workload. I mean, I know CNAs work. I have dated many CNAs. I have yet to date a nurse, though.
That tells me a lot about you. You also like people with substance problems.
I like women with.
This is the problem when you bring in someone like Christine Marie, who is a fortune teller and has all of these skills. Everything is on the table.
Because I'm petty like that. I like a woman. Well, she's not even that petty. I'm older now. You got to look for substance. I want benefits.
Absolutely.
She has to have benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to have something. A 401k, a good health plan. Insurance always helps. Good paid vacation, stuff like that.
So we've got a lot on the agenda today. We're going to continue to talk about people who just completely rip someone apart and they're in the audience.
Right.
We're going to talk about California. A proposal has been made to turn California into multiple states. Do you think it's time that Pennsylvania is split into multiple states? I want to hear your thoughts there. We have Christine Marie in studio. She's going to give me a reading, correct?
Yes.
What is the exact term? It is
reading is right. So I have a couple things set up. I've already prepped your natal chart. Which is...
I don't even know what that is.
That means where all of the planets were at the moment you were born and what you were looking at. And so where you were when you were born.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into all of that in a little bit. We also have the Hoodrat of the Week, of course, and Cooper's Corner. That's all coming up as well. And it's going to be a good time. But right now I want to hear your stories. Christine, do you have a story of a time where you completely just trashed someone, laid into them while they are in the audience?
I laid into them while they were in the audience. Because
you also are a comedian and actress.
Yeah, right. So
how many hats do you own?
All of them. I have all of the hats. I look great at them.
You're a podcaster as well.
I am. Thanks to you, actually, friend. You're a real inspiration.
Good.
But
changing the world every show.
Changing the world every show.
She has a good voice for the mic too. I really like it.
Oh, hey baby. You should hear me be a hypnotist. You're getting sleepy. Close your eyes. Yeah, see, it gets sexy, right?
It's getting weird. The opposite of sleepy now. No, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm also a girl. And
really?
Yeah, shocker.
I was about to say,
I know.
Get the out of here.
I know. But so somebody had said something behind my back along the lines of, "Damn, I'd like to bend that innocent little white girl over a sink full of dirty dishes." And I then made it a punchline in one of my jokes.
Yes.
And not in a mean way, and I never called them out for it, but they knew exactly who they were. Mm-hmm. And they came up to me after the show and went, "All right, but that was funny."
Like, what did you say?
Well, so the joke is, you know that fight that you get in with your significant other, the one where you text your ex? Mm-hmm. You know, the one, and it's never like a good text. It's usually something like, "I'd like to bend that innocent little white girl over a sink full of dirty dishes." And you never say anything good back to that, right? Like, I can't believe I haven't seen this in 2 years, right? It's not how that goes. And then goes on from there. But yeah, so that's how I had snuck it in to let them know that I knew.
Right. But they like when you acknowledge them.
Right.
So
right. But it wasn't like a call out. It wasn't anything like that. It was all in good fun.
Right.
And it wasn't like trashing them, but like, I know what you did and you know what you did. And now I made it funny. Ha 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 ha.
Well, I know, like, when I ripped into this guy the day of the event, it put me in such a better mood.
Yeah.
Telling off an asshole is just really one of life's greatest treasures.
Well, but I really enjoy it when you don't have to insult them too. Like, you can just win. Like one day I was on stage and I giggled at one of my little jokes, and somebody went, "Don't laugh at your own jokes." And I said, "I wrote the joke. I think it's funny."
You think it's funny, yeah.
Right.
Fuck you. And the whole crowd applauded me. Like, this is a fun job. You should get to laugh. That's why you say it, you know?
Well, I know I personally am my biggest fan. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm fantastic.
All
Yes.
up in your chart.
My voice was just made for this job.
Right. And you helped make it that way.
I with some help, built this fantastic network. I changed the landscape. I am, like, on the Mount Rushmore. I am just so good at what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fantastic.
I know that you know that.
He did all the work. I am just the face here. That's it.
Well, this entire show was created because, well, today's show, for example, this Friday edition was created because Jay and I have been working together before the River's Edge started, and then we were doing the monthly thing, but my work schedule changed, and then Jay could not be a part of it, and I was doing the show in the mornings. So we launched a different day, a Saturday day, just to bring Jay in, and then he brought in Howie as well.
Yeah.
And
Man,
then
friendship is great.
Yeah.
And people working together and supporting each other, that's wonderful.
It
Good
is.
for you all.
It's great.
Big fan.
Yeah. So, do we have anything from the audience? Anybody who has given us their story of a time when they completely just
Not yet,
Not yet.
but somebody can. I see. Shout out to people who are watching right now.
We're in the Facebook live feed. You can
Yeah.
also message us via the texting line at 412-4072-PGH.
I see Vinny on there.
407-2744. I know Vinny Didiano, he definitely has an experience where he's completely ripped into someone on stage. That's what we're looking for.
I know you have, Vinny. Come on, give me
Completely
something.
insulted someone.
Hey, Cinnamon.
Is there anything better than just laying into an asshole? That's another question. I know it's something that I really enjoy. And that's
Right.
one of the best things about the place where I work.
Hey, SpongeBob.
Is there are plenty of assholes, and it's socially acceptable to just lay into them. Mm-hmm. And it really is. It's a nice feeling.
It is.
When you know you're right, and you know the other person is wrong, and no matter how you look at the situation, you know you are in the moral high ground. You're on the moral high ground, and you can just give someone an education.
Well, but isn't there a place where you can contribute, like, here's some suggestions to, like, help you in the future instead of, like, you're an asshole and you know you're an asshole. But, like, how about change the world? Right? Mr. Rogers, look for the helpers.
I am
right?
changing the world by letting people know, by letting you know, if you're out there, what a complete fool you are, what a complete ass you are. Now you have the opportunity to grow and change, right?
I do.
That's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? I'm just looking out for the betterment of humankind. I am Pittsburgh's moral compass, so I'm just trying to set everyone...
See, I don't,
On a straight
I don't
path.
feel that at
And
all.
I
Oh.
am the. Oh, she's writing something on the list. Oh shit. See, I like to consider myself the resident gentleman, but at the same time, the reluctant bachelor. So, yeah.
I am...
Oh, we can rip into them.
Yeah, I know,
I am
right? There's so
Pittsburgh's
much shit.
voice
Don't
of
put that on the
reason.
list, though. And hello, Sonia, by the way.
in the
Yeah,
Facebook
just
live chat.
record it. Don't write it. Just record it on the live air. That'll be different.
There you go.
So in just a few minutes, we are going to be talking with Christine. She is going to give us a reading. She is going to predict our futures.
Well,
Alright.
no, that's
No?
that. I won't even say that I'm predicting your future because
Okay.
that's not. I don't want to disinformation.
Okay.
Right.
Oh.
What I do is I read where things were at the time of your birth and what that means, like in your own psychology, right?
I see.
In your what are the choices that you are more likely to make because of your experiences?
Okay.
Not what is your future, but what chances might you have? What things will you experience?
Would you also say that with that knowledge, you can maybe make certain choices where you think you will excel better at?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so by learning this information, you can then make your own life decisions and guide yourself in a better, more fruitful direction.
Like if you go to the hospital and you get your chart, you know you're allergic to X, Y, and Z. That means something to the doctors, but it also means something to you.
See, I'm allergic to assholes, and that's why I tell them off.
Fine.
I'm allergic to dumb people.
Yeah. I see that.
Dumb people irk me.
Yeah, that would be a Sagittarius rising. But so you can make certain decisions based on this. It can influence it, but it is also like what kind of things are likely to go into making this decision? What kind of I have high blood pressure. I probably shouldn't eat pasta 7 days a week, right? Meanwhile, I have low blood pressure. Pasta's all mine. What are the things that you balance out
Okay.
to make those decisions?
All right. Well, lay it on us.
Fantastic. Well, no.
No.
We're going to get to that
There
in
is a
just a few
schedule.
minutes.
Oh, okay.
You must stay on task.
I'm getting anxious.
I'm getting good
anxious.
because we're moving on to Cooper's Corner.
Bum,
cool.
bum, bum.
I like that.
Is that going to be the music for today? No, come on. You got to come up with a track.
I gotta come up with a track for this.
There we go.
No, that seems wrong.
Now it's more of
So Cooper's Corner always has a soundtrack
It's more of
to
a
it.
beatbox, you know.
I don't have that part.
You don't have that.
Oh,
No.
you got that. Yeah, see, you got it.
No.
Yeah, come on. You know, you got that.
Cooper's Corner. All right, what do we have?
There you go. I like that.
Step it up.
Oh my God. I got to get some people with rhythm. Okay, so.
That's not what I came here for. I never proved.
All right, for Cooper's Corner, and we did this. I remember we did this segment about a year or so ago, which is interesting. I wanted to talk about cities, and towns with strange names. Yeah, in the United States, and the story that comes with them, like why they were called that. And out of the 50, I chose 6.
Six cities.
Yeah, I chose 6 cities / towns. Most of them are towns though, because some of these, like you have to have a certain number for it to be a city, right?
Yeah, well, it depends on what state you live in. Every state has their own rules as to what
I was about to say
constitutes a city.
because some of these towns aren't even in the thousands. Like we're talking like
Yeah.
like some are like
Well, that's like even some counties in other states have mayors. So everybody has their own system of doing everything. It's confusing.
All right, okay. We're gonna start off with this one. We're gonna start off with Tightwad, Missouri.
Tightwad?
Tightwad.
A tightwad, oh.
Yeah, I like that one. This town was allegedly named out of spite after an incident in which a store owner ripped off a postman on a transaction.
Shit. That's perfect.
I love that.
And what's the name of the city again?
Tightwad.
Tightwad, okay.
How large is Tightwad?
It's funny you say
it
that.
tight?
One of the smallest towns on the list, and the population of Tightwad was around 64 people at the time of the 2010 census. So I'm just wondering, like, how much more is that within the last 8 years?
Well, with a name
Probably
like
not that
Tightwad,
much.
it's probably gone down.
I need to know what
Yeah, it
kind
could
of
have
power
went down
this
or
postman had.
probably hit 80 by now. I don't know.
Brian, wait, what kind of power did this postman have that he could change the name of a town of 64 people?
I know, right?
What kind of
None.
evil genius are you actually capable of, my friend?
Well, I don't mention what I do for a living on air, so there is that.
I said that you had knowledge. I did not
okay,
say that.
okay.
I
Ooh, I
didn't.
like how she did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, I'm suave.
Okay.
Look at me, suave and smooth and subtle.
No,
Those are all
no,
words to describe Christine Marie.
Yeah.
All right.
The post office is, well, we won't get into my opinions on the post office. Let's just put it that way.
That's fair.
Okay. Okay, we got another one. Chug water, Wyoming.
Chug water. Now, why is it named Chug water?
Okay, there was once a herd of bison that, when chased by hunters, they fell off a cliff into a stream, and the hunters had said that the sound of the event sounded like someone was chugging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
are you a chugger or are you a gulper?
It depends on what I'm chugging. I mean, I guess if anything, well, no, I'm not really a chugger. I'm more
not
of a
a chugger?
gulper. I mean, it depends on what kind of day I had.
I'm dating
At
you.
work.
Always sip, never guzzle.
I am a big gulper.
As long
I
as
got,
you swallow.
I'm big into the gulping.
Yes.
But like chugging, I physically cannot chug. I've tried. As soon as I lift my head back, my throat closes off. The tongue shuts off the throat, which I'm okay with. So here's the thing.
You don't need that, huh?
Well, what is the point of chugging? Like, I never understood the value in it, because to me, you drink things because you enjoy the flavor of them.
It's
So
all
if you're
about
just
it's all about
chugging-
impatience.
If you chug a beer, you're not actually tasting the beer. What's
No.
the point?
You're trying to get
Well,
fucked up
drinking something.
faster.
There you go.
That's
I
the
guess,
whole point.
but I guess I never. I mean, I get fucked up often, or not often as much, not as much anymore, but it does happen. But I never go out with the intention of, oh, I'm just going to go get fucked up. I drink because I like the flavor,
Right.
and I just happen to like the flavor so much that I drink enough to get fucked up.
Right.
Well,
There
but
you
that's
go.
your prerogative.
Within
and
time.
Other people's are
Yeah.
different.
True. No, I'm not saying that people are wrong for chugging. I just personally do not see the value in it.
Right.
Because to me, you're wasting the beverage. And,
And-
if you don't like the flavor of it, then why drink it in the first place?
Because it's free.
And speaking of chugging, I find this also interesting. Today, it's Chugwater is also home to the oldest soda fountain store
Oh.
in the state.
Well, that's decent marketing. That
That
person
is.
That
can
is.
work today.
Yeah,
That is good.
so that's pretty good. I like that. Let's see. Let's find another one. A funny one. Oh, Jamaica, Iowa. Now this one has a funny story.
Now, is that kind of like a Greenland Iceland thing where you're trying to get someone to move there, so you give it a nice sounding name?
You know, it's funny you say that because when in the picture you see snow, but then they had the sign that said Jamaica with the bright colors, making it look like it's all nice
Yeah,
and
see?
you're on the beach.
It's
and
marketing.
shit. So here's how the name came up. After a dispute on what to name the town after its previous name, which they didn't say, after its previous name was actually in use, the mayor of this town was blindfolded, and he pointed at the map, and it landed on Jamaica, and that's how they came up with the name.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
how he gave the town the name.
The
But-
town had another name and it had to change it because it had another name.
Right.
So it got another name.
Isn't that little? Yeah. I find that funny. I find that
funny.
That's odd.
That's a good story. That's a good story. Okay, let me speed up here. Okay, Santa Claus, Indiana.
Okay. Now, why?
Okay, originally it was called Santa Fe, but due to conflicts with the city in New Mexico, the town was renamed by its citizens. They chose the name.
See,
Go ahead.
I feel like they have this Santa Claus Congress over in Europe. We just talked about it a little bit ago on my show, where all of these Santa Clauses from across the world congregate to celebrate being Santa Clauses.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a great place for the Santa Claus Congress. They should move the Congress to Santa Claus, Iowa.
There's also, Randy Savage has Christmas Town. Am I have that correctly?
Randy Savage, the wrestler?
Randy Savage, the
Oh, wow.
wrestler, I'm pretty sure has a theme park that is all about Christmas.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think it's Randy Savage. I could be wrong. It's another wrestler. Hey, internet,
Did
correct me.
he do the ooh yeah dig it and all that stuff?
I'm sure.
Okay, yeah, because that's Randy
See,
Savage.
my
That's the
issue
one
with
I'm
that,
thinking
though,
about.
is as I know some people really, really, really like the Christmas season.
Yes,
But for me, I only want to see it during December. I'm going to this
Yeah.
wedding in October, and maybe I'll get into that when it gets closer to the wedding. But unfortunately, it's not in Florida where we all want it to be. It's in I can't even remember where, Tennessee.
yeah. I
And
remember you telling me
apparently-
about this. Yeah,
well, and I'll get into it later. I don't want to get into that now. But one of the selling points that people were trying to tell me about this part of Tennessee to try to make up for the fact that I cannot go to the beach, which is really a big downer for me, they say that there's this Christmas store. And I responded, why the hell would I want to go to a Christmas store in the middle of October. To me, that is not a selling point. To me, that is a negative. I will not walk into the Christmas store. You'll be lucky if you can get me to walk into a Christmas store during Christmas,
Right.
let alone in the end of October, near the end of October. It's just a no.
Right.
So
I get it.
A Christmas theme park, I feel like during the Christmas season, yes.
There are some towns that just celebrate Christmas all year round.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I couldn't live in a town like that.
And there's also a town, I can't remember where, but they celebrate Halloween almost all year long too.
No, that's
which
cool. I could deal with that.
Which is a little insane, but okay.
Okay, so as somebody who has alternative practices, however, people feel the need to connect with their divine whatever is fine. And it doesn't even have to be the divine. How you celebrate each other. Whatever you celebrate, celebrate. Life is short.
I guess, I actually used to like Christmas a lot, but then I worked almost a decade in retail, and now I work in a service industry that is very busy during that time of year. So I've learned to hate the season.
I've maybe gotten a little bit spoiled in terms of retail because my longest retail job was 4 years. I worked at Spencer's.
Okay.
So,
love that place.
Yeah, but like every holiday is our holiday. Ha 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 ha. And bachelorette parties and bachelor parties and
the drinking games that y'all have there is freaking amazing, and the light little sex toys that they have. I'm sorry.
Light
I'm
little.
beside
Have you
myself.
seen the sections lately? They're not even hiding them anymore.
Yeah,
like,
no, they're out in the open.
Actually, so I left Spencer's and then began selling sex toys out of a suitcase, and the only reason that I stopped, like,
there's money in that.
There really is. The only reason I stopped is I got robbed by a sorority of 60 girls.
Oh, wow.
And they took my entire inventory.
Oh, they needed it.
I was hoping it was like a gang of grannies. I was hoping it would have been a gang of grannies coming after you for the sex toys.
I wish, because then we could prevent STDs. You know, I could like make a meaningful impact on the nursing home industry.
All right.
True.
Okay, we got two more.
Two more? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear them.
We got Goofy Ridge, Illinois.
Okay.
Goofy Ridge. Okay, so the story is after a night of drinking, a game warden declared that he was sober enough to shoot a walnut off somebody's head. And after successfully shooting the walnut off the volunteer's head, it was said to be, in quote, one damn goofy thing to do.
Yeah.
See, if this is the way we're going to come up with names for towns, can we just call Grant Avenue here in Millville Swagger Way? Because people are like swaggering all over the street, zigzagging,
I like that.
You know.
I like that.
Collision
Drive.
All drunk.
Ooh.
I was talking to, so there's this event going on. I was talking with the mayor of Sharpsburg. They're having this event coming up, Gayasuda Days. And I asked him, I said, is it similar to Millville Days? Which Millville Days is a festival where they shut down Grant Avenue and everyone is just drunk. And they just walk around drunk. That's basically the point of Millville Days. Yeah, they've got some rides and some food and they have really great music. But really, the point of Millville Days is so people can get drunk and walk around. And that's it. So he tells me that there's no alcohol at Gayasuda Days. I said, what's the point? I don't get it.
A dry
event. I mean, that's the reason why Millville is as busy as it is. Because every event that they do involves a lot of alcohol. And people flock to it. People like alcohol.
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
So I feel like, Gayasuda Days, it may be a lot of fun, but I feel like it needs a little
extra. If it's dry,
extra.
I bet it's burning.
All right, and here's
Last
the final one. Lick Skillet, Alabama.
That sounds painful.
I was just thinking the same thing. That sounds very hot.
Well, no, it's completely opposite of what you're thinking. Completely opposite of what you're thinking. Okay.
Frozen?
No.
Washed his face with a frying pan. That guy?
Well, hold on. Let me... All right, though, this is how they say it. Though all of you find this in a tiny village, in this tiny village is a big old building called the Music Barn, and a few storage buildings, and it does have a pretty odd story behind its moniker. So this is named after a brawl. Okay. In which two relatives got into a fight, and one was hit by a skillet, in which it was reported, end quote, he licked him with the skillet, end quote. So...
How do you, licked him with a skillet?
Well,
how does that even
happen?
happen?
Like an attack.
Oh, like an attack lick. Okay,
yeah,
not like an actual...
I took a licking.
I see. Yeah. That makes more sense.
Yeah, that's old school talk. Yeah.
Meow, see, meow, you'll never catch me, copper.
Yeah.
You'll never give me a licking.
That's how people talked in the 40s.
So I see Amber Bamber is live with us in the Facebook chat room.
Hello, Amber Bamber.
Amber, if you're listening and you have a story where you completely just trashed someone on the stage and they are there, please let us know your stories.
Yes,
I feel like
please
we're
share
going to get
with
a
us.
lot of comments after the show today with people's stories, and I'm looking forward to
Probably.
reading them.
And I'm seeing like all these people on here. These are all
They're
my
all
friends. Susan, Benny,
Let us know.
SpongeBob, Cinnamon, Sonia. Come on.
So,
Now you're just making stuff up.
this...
I'm putting them on the
Sandra,
spot.
Rita. And as I continue, you know that they're getting sweeter.
Sweeter, yes.
At first I was like, wait, where are you going with this?
Sunday.
I know that.
5 p.m.,
I should know that, but I know it.
5 to 8. And it is going to be... Where is this located, 5 to 8 on Sunday?
Oh, it is at Sparkle Dragon's Magical Emporium.
Okay, that's what I thought. So where is that?
Beachview.
Beachview,
It is-
okay.
Oh, shit. I live in Beachview.
Dude, come down. It's going to be awesome. And I'm already, like, you could even leave a review if you wanted to, and you could tell people how awesome I am after I read you, because I'm really good at what I do. So, yeah, no, come on down. It'll be awesome.
Okay, wait a minute. What street is this on?
Right on Broadway. It's 2 doors down from Slice on Broadway. It is right off that T stop.
Slice
I
on
know where
Broadway.
you are.
Yeah.
A great
Okay.
sponsor of AwesomeCast, which you can hear every Saturday morning right here
Yeah.
at riversedgepgh.com. Don't forget, you can tell your Amazon Alexa to play the River's Edge station on TuneIn and listen to us that way as well.
Good pizza, too. My father loves that place.
Now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really like it too. But so Sparkle Dragons has been there for 4 years, and I'm actually celebrating 4 years of having read tarot and done astrology. And
what
all
do
of
they
the
do?
things
What
they
is
do.
Sparkle Dragons?
So they're a witch shop.
Okay.
They have all of your magical needs, and like some that you don't. There's some beautiful artwork. They're so community oriented. They do a ton for Beachview. They have a lot of local artists. For example, hello, at my show, I'm going to be, this will be the second time I'm debuting, but a couple pieces are new. My art collection that I just finished, which is a bunch of acrylic pour stuff, and that'll be for silent auction during the first hour, which is going to be the reception hour of the show. But they do readings. They bring a lot of people in. They really help people. I and Joyce, who owns Sparkle Dragon Magical Emporium, we both market ourselves as ethical practitioners.
Okay.
So I won't, for example, like I have a hypnosis degree. So I'm part of the Medical and Dental Association because of it. So I'm not going to do something like hypnotize someone with an eating disorder.
So you actually are a
to
hypnotist.
lose
I thought
weight.
you were joking when you
No,
when you
I
mentioned
really am a
that.
hypnotist. I have a degree.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I was
This is
clinically
Christine
trained.
Marie we're talking to.
Yes.
Jay and Brian here on River Talk.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I actually, so my hypnosis degree is, I've had it since 2011. It's from the Hypnosis School of Virginia. My professor was Mary Von Posh. I'm part of like a very elite, small, exclusive group of people who are also like medical practitioners because of this. So I can work with things like anesthesia and analgesia, which is no pain, and pressure but no pain. So like the difference between like Novocaine or like lower, what's that word?
Lower body.
What, extremities?
Anesthesia.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Oh, anesthesia.
Local anesthesia. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
But I can work with weight loss and non-smoking and PTSD and
What about cheating?
we can talk about it. Absolutely. That's a thing that we can work on.
So, but you can't hypnotize. If I understand this correctly, you cannot hypnotize someone to kill themselves. Correct?
No. You want to talk? Okay.
So basically, what I'm just trying to say, that real quick, is this is not some cheap ploy to get Han Funeral Home more service. First off, that business would not stoop to that level.
I was waiting
They're
for
the
that
only
cheap plug.
family-owned funeral home here in Millville, and they specialize in green burials. And I just wanted to make a point that we're not using this segment to try to drive in more business to them. But if you are planning your future, be sure to consider Han Funeral Home right here in Millville.
So
This guy.
that's amazing. I am impressed. No, okay, so I cannot hypnotize. First off, all hypnotism is self-hypnotism. I can't hypnotize, say, a paraplegic to go stand on their head in the corner. If I can, there's a lot of other psychological things wrong that need addressed.
Yes.
But...
You would make a shitload of money, though.
Well, yes, but no.
Because you wouldn't be able to do it if they can't do it, right?
Munchausen's is real.
Yeah.
So if I actually did hypnotize someone to do that, then we would need to discuss that as a possibility.
Okay.
But everybody with an IQ over Coco the gorilla, and I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm saying like that is the level.
Coco was smart.
Anybody with an IQ over Coco the gorilla can be hypnotized. It's a matter of willpower. And usually in these deeper, like theta and delta states that your mind is focused on, and even as much as when you're driving a car, your brain is in a different state than it would be if you were just walking or like we're interacting right now.
Well, that's really true. That's very true. And I can attest to that as someone with Tourette syndrome. When I do certain tasks, my disorder affects me in different ways.
Sure.
And driving's one of them. When I was a newer driver, I would not have as many symptoms when I was driving because I think it was because my mind was so focused. But now that I have become more comfortable driving, I don't have that as under control.
That's exactly right. So, and this goes with luck too that I was describing earlier, is what are the things that you are unconsciously, consciously paying attention to? Everybody has some kind of tick, for better, I'll crack my wrist.
Sure, yeah, everybody
all
has
the
their...
time.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold it closer to the mic.
I can hear it, yeah. Ooh.
Oh, can y'all hear that?
So many things, but yeah, that is...
Can y'all hear that?
I don't know if it's
It
coming
never
across,
stops.
but wow, that is crazy.
But if I'm not paying attention, I will do this for an hour, hour and a half, like whatever. Just I'm not looking at it.
Right.
It's the same thing in a car. Now, when you're in that state, though, you can. It's called suggestions, right? I can suggest to you. You are very calm. Your hands are gently by your knees. You are relaxed. You don't want to say the words don't or no in the subconscious other states because your brain doesn't recognize no. Your brain in those states recognizes the objects itself.
Right.
Okay.
What's a good example? Instead of you don't want to smoke, your brain just hears smoke. So something I would say to you is you enjoy breathing clean air.
I see.
Right.
As opposed to
Right. So it's and it actually helps a lot with children and like the people in your life. Like it helps you be a lot more compassionate.
That's some pretty good subliminal type stuff right there.
He was hypnotized once for smoking. And I don't think it worked, but or maybe it did work. I don't know. Because he seemed to think that it didn't work, but he was so angry that he spent the money that he didn't smoke any longer. He stopped himself from smoking. So I'm wondering if it did work, and I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and that would depend. And I like to say, like, with these other things that I do. Like,
yes.
Oh, no, I'm so mad that I spent the money that I didn't buy any more cigarettes. Darn, I quit smoking. Wait, that was the goal?
That's what I mean. Yeah,
Right.
It was weird. So, like, what was that?
And now
their
you don't
route
have the
to
crave
get him
no more.
to quit?
It might have been. It
Yeah.
depends on the personality. It depends, like, what.
So when you hypnotize, you're basically doing things based on the readings that you do of someone.
No,
not
necessarily. Not necessarily.
No, okay.
It depends on what I'm doing it for. It depends also like what service they pay for, right?
I guess my point is when you understand somebody, then it's easier to hypnotize them because you understand their mental state.
And that's usually why I will schedule a couple of sessions. I usually book like 3 to 5, and like we can talk because it's the same as like going to a medical practitioner where like you go to your doctor. Your first physical with a new doctor is really awkward.
Right, you got to get familiar with.
Got to get familiar, and like that's what the first session of any package that I do with you is for.
Okay.
Now that said, I've done things like hypnobirthing, and I usually recommend like
What is that?
It's safer than Lamaze. It is practicing breathing and really focusing on each one of your muscles, and it has a lot to do in based of like sports hypnosis and focusing it, but it's focused for women because we deserve it too. Dang it. And also like that pushing out the kid thing, really tricky. So
I'm sure very painful.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you, my last hypnobirthing client, she had the baby early, but she had the baby 3 weeks early, but it took 9 hours of labor. And she did not have an epidural until the last 15 minutes.
Wow.
Oh.
And that is the level of pain control that hypnosis can also provide you.
Okay.
But again, I only had 3 sessions with her. If I had had the whole 9, she might not have needed it at all.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
I wish I had that video. I wanted to share that with you. I saw a video on Facebook that showed this woman giving birth standing up. Now, this woman was she was in really good shape, and I can't believe the video actually made it on Facebook. Nobody tried to get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wonder about your algorithms.
No, I was fine with it. I was fine with it, but some people would think that that's kind of gross, because it's showing body parts. And this woman was in great shape too. Like some of those women that just, they just get the stomach and that's it, and then the rest of their body. Like she was in good shape, and you saw the head. And at first I'm thinking, this is fake. This ain't nothing real. Nah, the mouth started moving, started making noise, crying, and it just went like that.
Yep.
I was just like, wow.
Well, we're going to talk about
Standing up.
About our births and other things.
We are going to talk about your births.
I know my poor mother could have used some hypnosis to ease her pain, I'm sure, because I was at least a month late.
Oh.
Yeah, I was supposed to be born in August, late August, and was born on the last day in September.
Well, lucky you. You still got to be born.
No, not lucky me.
On a warm...
No, I didn't. September 30th every year is raining and miserable. I've only ever had one warm weather birthday. I have to rephrase that because
But are you
I used to
even
always
up
say...
in the daytime to know whether or not the sun would
Oh,
be out?
yeah, I am. I'm actually... I prefer to wake up early. I'm not an early person, but I actually like to wake up early. Mm-hmm. It's what I plan to do. I want to do that because I feel like when you sleep in, you miss the whole day, but it's hard to get yourself to wake up early. Especially, I grew up, my mom worked overnight for a while, and I worked overnight for 3 years recently. So my natural inclination is to stay up late and then sleep in, but I actually do not like that because I am a big sun person. I love
you're
the sun.
missing the day. You feel like you're missing something.
Get that vitamin D.
And I'm angry at myself to this day that I stayed in there for so long because my birthday, September 30th, is always miserable and cold. I've only ever had one birthday that I can remember that had good weather. I've had good birthdays, but very few good birthdays with
sunshine.
with good weather as well.
So you've had rain.
Yeah, usually rain, and often it'll even be nice before September 30th, then it'll dip down into terrible weather, and then early October it will be nice again.
So what kind of temperature are we talking?
The temperature doesn't matter as much as the weather. It's always usually miserable out. But
I'm only saying that because my birthday, February 25th.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that sucks.
It sucks.
I would be
that's what I'm saying. I would
that.
trade places with you in a heartbeat.
Sure. But I could have been born in
Yeah.
August, which is really my prime time. That's the time of life that I enjoy the most is that warm summer weather.
I was almost 3 days away from sharing the birthday with a president. Ugh. No.
There you go.
I didn't want to share.
But we've got Christine Marie here.
Yes.
With
We're
George
on
Washington.
River Talk. Mm-hmm. And you have readings. You've done a reading of each of us.
I have.
So can we go over that?
Absolutely,
That's
we
exciting.
can. Yeah. Okay. So you want to do? I have Jay here. I'll do Jay first.
We'll do Jay first.
Me first.
All right.
Yeah.
So
now, why is his circle bigger than mine?
because I drew his circle smaller first.
It's naturally going to be bigger, man. What you mean?
I don't know. My circle is it's huge.
Well, we're gonna talk about
Mine is wide. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So,
Girth.
when we're talking about what's your sign, we're talking about your sun usually, and what I do is focus on where all of the planets were at the moment you were born.
So your sign is based on the sun.
When you're reading your daily horoscope,
Okay.
your sign is based on the sun.
Okay.
But that is your sun sign.
Mm-hmm.
Your ascendant, your moon sign, your Mars sign are very different.
Oh.
Sometimes they can be the same. You can have things conjunct. You can have things that live in the same house that are in the same sign. That doesn't mean that they are the combination of them matters, right?
Okay.
So everything that I say also has to do with like everything else that I say. So you may not have all of the characteristics of your sun sign, although I think both of you probably lean more towards that than not. Because just looking at it now, both of your ascendants. Oh no, I apologize. Brian, your ascendant is in your first house. Your ascendant.
Now what does that mean? The first house.
Okay, so the first house, and this is my favorite concept in astrology, in the tradition that I practice, is your ascendant is what you were looking at the moment that you were born.
Okay.
Okay, so what that identifies is how you view the world from the moment that you're born and what you do with that, right? And so what it means is like you are at what sign you were in when you met this planet, when you met this universe, has as much of an effect as every other planetary body, every other thing that takes up space in this universe. Like you matter. Your decisions
Damn
matter.
right I matter.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So for Jay, your first house, so your sun sign, which you know already, is Pisces, right? And Pisces you guys are very emotional. You're very deep, but you are not emotional on the surface. On the surface, you can be very placid until you hit that thing. Don't hit the thing. That's a terrible idea. Don't hit the thing.
I won't hit the thing.
That's you. I won't hit the thing because I know where your thing is.
I know, or
at least we're going to talk about it.
No, go ahead.
It's not that you keep secrets. It's that you know when to be honest.
Oh.
Isn't that better?
Okay. All right.
No, like you know when not to reveal things. Like, like you wouldn't be like, and this is my first show, right? If you're like trying to introduce yourself as a thing, right?
Right.
Like there are things that you know. This doesn't need to be said now. And I say that because your sun and your moon are conjunct. Now, what that means is you were born on a new moon. So the sun and the moon were in the exact same sign. Now, your moon in Pisces, because I also have a moon in Pisces, means that you do have, if people just understood that everything that you're saying is absolutely right, they just need to hear you through the tears. Right? Because, like, you're mad about, you have to be right before you're mad about it. And that is part of why you get mad about it.
Yes.
Is because here are all of the reasons that I am justified. Right? But that also means that you have a lot more compassion for people and you give them so many chances to like way too many. But you're the kind of person with your moon in Pisces that will dance with the devil. Well, and you knew the whole time, but he's a good dancer, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He leads, I follow, and then...
Exactly. Right. So you see things for what they are and not even necessarily always the whole picture, but what is the thing that matters.
Okay.
You, for example, you've seen Men in Black?
Yes, I have.
You're the kind of person that would shoot the little girl. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Because I see the bigger picture.
Because you see the bigger picture, but you see it in this little detail of her books don't belong with her. She's too young to be reading about astrophysics. Right. What's going on? There's that. You see... Now, with anything in Pisces, and especially in your fourth house, I teased you a little bit earlier about liking girls with substance abuse problems. You let it into your house because not everybody has a problem, and you don't believe in addiction the same way other people believe in addiction. So I don't think you have a problem. I just think you use a lot. I think that you're using it to treat a legitimate thing. I think that you know your body better than other people.
Definitely.
Now, where I'm getting a lot of that from is in your first house of Sagittarius. So your rising sign, your ascendant is Sagittarius. Okay. So you see everything through this very educated, educated, scholarly, academic, yes, but in a way that like you study people, you approach the thing as someone who knows better already.
Okay.
You don't have like childlike curiosity, but like you can build a pretty quick IKEA table.
Yeah.
Because like you see how
without the instructions.
Without the instructions. Because you already know these pieces mean this. You're you're decades ahead of people intellectually.
You hear that,
especially
people?
Especially your peers.
I am above you.
What does that say about me? I brought him on the show.
We'll get to you.
Damn.
All of your first house we're going to talk about in a second. But your first house contains 3 planets. I'm going to try and make this a little bit snappier.
Okay.
Your Venus, which if your first house is in Venus means you project a very sexual identity, but you also understand that having multiple people in love with you at once can be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other people don't understand that because they don't get that.
They don't get it.
But you
If they were as good looking as me, they would get it.
Exactly.
If they had the swagger and the suaveness.
Well, and let's talk about your swagger and your suaveness in your Uranus and Neptune that are also in your first house. So your Uranus is the planet of change and the planet of like lighting things up that make things clearer to you.
Okay.
So you, in also going along with this whole Pisces moon thing, that Uranus in your first house means you can like psych. Like you can zero in on like that person's immediate insecurity. I know exactly what's wrong with you.
Yep.
Here's the other thing though. In order to recognize what kind of drug someone is on, you have to have done that drug.
Okay.
So if you recognize somebody doing something, you may not always like you may know something is wrong, but you don't necessarily have to be like, hey, Dave, did you notice that Jim is grinding his teeth and has really like schizoid movements?
Oh, you mean
right. Right.
That's how you know they on that stuff.
Exactly. But you would know this. But you're not going to out yourself.
No.
That's your Uranus. You know when it's time to be like, okay, that is fucked up. And that is like, you're going to do what you're going to do. Whatever. Enjoy yourself.
That's me. Nonchalant.
That
is me.
Neptune in Sagittarius is in your first house. You understand, again, this goes back to people understand their own bodies more than anything that is written on this piece of paper.
Okay.
Right? It's written here that I am allergic to tomatoes, for example. But I know that if I eat tomatoes, the only thing that happens to me is this, so I'm going to deal with the consequences here.
Right.
You are able to weigh consequences in a way that is different than morality.
Okay.
Like, that is different than, like, typical morality. You give people a lot more leeway for being who they are.
I do. I do.
And you know, like you're not going to get mad at the dog for taking a shit on the floor because sometimes a dog is going to take a shit on the floor and you have to deal with it.
Right.
Fine. Right. That's what a dog does.
Right.
Anybody that presents themselves as who they are, that's what they do. Fine. Actually, I want to tell you that you have a really, really good thing coming up right now happening in your life.
Yes, please tell me.
So Jupiter was just retrograde in Scorpio, and Jupiter was retrograde in Scorpio when you were born. Mm-hmm. So what that means is your luck comes from sex, death, birth, and rebirth, and oftentimes, usually sex. But so the things that matter to you are everything but everything. So Scorpio is exactly opposite on the wheel from Taurus, for example. Taurus is all about the body and the freshness and the newness and being able to plant. Scorpio is what do you do with the metal? What do you do with what is handed to you, right? And so you are able to make the luck of yours from things that were already in your past, like you have done the work for, and right now is a lot of collection for you. Time is up. Like it's, maybe from a relationship 20 years ago, you have an open account that you hadn't looked at before, and now it's right at the time that you need it, right?
Reap your benefits.
Reap your benefits, absolutely. Okay. So that's where you're at right now, So this is right on where your Jupiter is.
Okay.
It was, right? So listen to people who are calling you back. People who haven't been here for a long time are suddenly like, hey man, I didn't know you were in town. What's going on? Hey, I just saw this come up. So whoever is like reaching out to you right now is going to be really good for you. But also things like your how you deal in relationships, but your legacy in those relationships, like what you've left behind in those relationships.
Oh boy.
It's time to reap the benefits of.
Okay.
And that justice can mean a lot of things: sex, death, birth, and rebirth. But death has to come before rebirth.
Okay.
Finally, so your 11th house contains, so your 11th house is friends, wishes, and hopes.
Okay.
So like good things. The blanket of like how do you interact with people. But like also how is your press, right? Do you work in this kind of industry? Hello. Mars, your planet of passion, but also your planet of war. So how you know that someone is your friend is after you have told them what is up. After like calling them out to be an asshole from stage, that's when they tend to respect you more.
Okay.
Is because you speak your mind.
Right.
Your Saturn, how you work, is also in 11. Is in Libra. And Saturn in Libra is, all right, I have this job and this is the status quo. So I am allowed to do anything else with this time onward because that is the status quo and this is my playtime and I have identified it as such.
I like that. Okay.
I wrote Libra in Libra. Oh, goodness. Pluto, finally. Okay. So Pluto in Libra. So actually, this is really good, these two things being right next to each other. You understand why, like, I go back to why people do what they do, but also, like, you have a lot of compassion for why people do what they do.
Okay.
You understand that some things are choices, but some things are a matter of where, like, the product of many, many, many other decisions and choices that were made against them.
Okay.
And you have a lot of, like I said, compassion for those sorts of people.
Okay.
So you'll let more weirdos into your life because you know that they have a certain skill that whether or not they're crazy, they are skilled.
Yes. All right. Damn, I hope yours is just as great as mine. Yeah, because that was good.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Feel free to leave me a review or whatever.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Very
come
good.
Down
Thank you, Christine.
On Saturday. Thank you. Or Sunday.
Sunday
at 5.
You got to remember what day you're on,
I'm
girl.
sorry.
It's Sunday.
We are going to get into my reading, but before we do that, I do have a comment from an audience member for you, and then we're going to do the Hoodrat of the week before we run into my reading, I think, just to break things up a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited to hear what I have. So the comment we have is from someone named Rod, and Rod asks, I don't know if this is something you can answer in the chat. It might be something he has to come on Sunday for. He's asking if you can tell him when his husband's rectal prolapse is going to heal. I don't know if that's something you could tell him.
No, that's not a thing. That's really not under my jurisdiction.
Okay.
I can give you pain management, and I can talk to you about, like, focusing your healing process. But I can't tell you when it is going to heal.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. But yeah, it's something you could come on Sunday to kind of.
Well, yeah, we can totally talk about things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm also a Reiki practitioner. I'm a level 3 master.
Oh wow.
Which means I can teach it. And actually, I got like my first like real student, and I'm so excited about it.
That's awesome.
A lot of people, if you hear that they got their Reiki certification from the YMCA, you run away from those people. They're crazy. How you can tell if somebody is actually serious is they can trace their lineage.
Okay.
If you can trace your lineage to Usui, then that's my tradition that I practice.
Okay.
So.
Great. Well, we're going to get my reading
Hooray!
right after the Hoodrat of the week.
Hoodrat of the week.
We've got that right now, though, right here.
Yes.
on the river's edge.
Turn that up. We came, we saw, and died.
All right.
All right. Now, oh, welcome to Hoodrat of the Week, by the way. All right. So, now, like how over the past few weeks, I've been talking about how I've been, like lately, I've been doing Hoodrat of the Weeks of just, normal people in the world, but no celebrities, right?
Yes, yeah, we've been off of the celebrities for a while.
Yeah, it's been a good while, and I finally found one. This actually happened this past Saturday morning in Oroville. I want to make sure I say it right. Oroville, California, which I heard from a couple of sites. They nicknamed it the the meth capital.
Meth capital of the world.
Of California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Happened?
So early Saturday morning, police officers arrested 3 men that was wandering around a closed business complex in Oroville, California, which is, for those who don't know where that is, it's about an hour outside of Sacramento. Okay, so they were behaving erratically with flashlights, and officers suspected that they were either drunk or high. They took them back to the station, released them a few hours after they sobered up. One of the men amused the officers with his sense of humor, and they called him witty. And this witty person is a man known as Shaun Weiss. Now, some don't remember Shaun Weiss, but if I name the character that he's known for, people will remember him. Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
You remember him now? The chubby goalie?
I know exactly who you're talking
Yes.
about. My heart.
Yes. Former child star and actor, Shaun Weiss. All famous for the Mighty Ducks, part 1 and 2, and for Heavyweights. That was a good movie, too, when they was in the fat camp, and Ben Stiller was the...
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
I will never forget that movie. I was a 12-year-old girl once.
Yeah. So, the guy has been going through some shit after Mighty Ducks, man. The dude has been in a decline. Especially, like, this isn't the first time that he got brought into the police station. Last July, this man was arrested for petty theft, sentenced to 150 days at an LA County jail for stealing $151 worth of merchandise from an electronics store.
Wow.
That's how bad it is for this guy. TMZ reported this. Now,
it's bad when TMZ reports you on anything.
I know, right?
Anything they report, it seems like it's always something that's not favorable.
Yes. So and the funny part is, it was so overcrowded in the jail, they let him go early.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he didn't even finish his time. But then, just days after he was let go, he was brought back to jail, arrested again for possession of meth.
Wow.
Now, for those of you that can see behind me, you can see the picture.
We had it up, yeah.
Yeah, so that way you can see how he looked as Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks, and then how he looked in his
Brian, scoot a little to the side.
So let's describe it a little bit.
That's his mugshot.
Let's describe it for the audience listener. So he looked like he was really in fine health.
Right, he was in fine health.
And now he looks like he's really hit a rough patch. He looks
really look bad.
He looks probably, like 30 years older?
Yeah, he looks really bad because he's only 39 years old.
Wow.
He's 39. I'm 36, and he looks like that. I mean, it's
yeah,
it's bad.
That's crazy.
It's bad. So I felt bad for this guy, and his agent was hoping that his time in jail would help him smarten up, so that way and help him also come up with some something to write. Because actually he's getting into comedy, which really piqued my interest too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he actually has been doing some stand-up comedy.
How insulting.
He has a video. Well, I knew he was.
Here, man, maybe you can use this for your little skit.
Hey, you know what? When you're in jail, a lot of people write shit. I mean,
know.
Tupac wrote a lot of good songs when he was in jail. So did Martin Luther King. I'm sure he probably wrote the whole speech when he was doing the Million Man March. He probably wrote that shit in prison. Who knows?
Interesting story about people writing things in jail.
Yes.
The entire modern German language came about through the Bible that Martin Luther wrote, because there were many different dialects. He kind of uniformed it. Mm-hmm. He did that while he was being held in a castle, basically imprisoned, to save him from the Inquisition.
Right.
So look at that, even entire languages.
Entire language.
Yeah, built on being in jail.
Yeah.
In one way or another.
It's sad. So for Sean Weiss, now the past charge, he wasn't charged in his most recent run-in with the law. That's what TMZ reported. But that mugshot, though.
Yeah,
oh
that's
my God.
awful.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, 39 years old. Far cry from the young Goldberg that we grew up and loved.
Yeah.
The big, chubby, lovable goalie from the Mighty Ducks. I wish him well, though. And, I wish him the best in health. I hope his comedy career blossoms. But in the meantime, he is my Hoodrat of the Week.
That's the Hoodrat of the Week. That's Jay Cooper. That's the Hoodrat of the Week.
That's right.
I'm Brian Crawford. We're going to continue with Christine Marie, our special guest here today on this wonderful Friday evening where it's raining outside, but not so much rain that it's unpleasant to be outside.
It's romantic rain.
It's nice. I'm enjoying the rain.
Yeah.
It's nice. And we're looking over the courtyard here at Mr. Small's Theater, broadcasting at riversedgepgh.com, Pittsburgh's voice for local music, where you can hear some of the best local music in Pittsburgh 24 hours a day.
Best.
At riversedgepgh.com and
some
also on
of the best.
Oh,
some of the best.
Well, here's the thing. We definitely do have the best, but there are some really, really great bands that we still need to get signed up. So that's why I say some of the best, because there are some really great bands that we're still looking to reach out to.
There's room for more.
There's always room for more. Yes.
Absolutely.
And there's also room for more Christine Marie, and that's why we have her here across the table with my reading. I'm Brian Crawford, getting my reading here live on the air. What do we have?
Oh, honey dumpling. All right, so your sun sign is in Libra, but your ascendant is also Libra, and then your moon and your Mercury are both in Libra.
Oh, wow. I'm very Libra.
Yes, you are. So let me tell you a little about Libra. Okay. Libra is the northern star where in the fall...
I said, moral compass.
I'm sorry. Let me try again. Venus, the ruling planet of Libra, is the northern star in the fall, where it is the evening star in the spring. So it is Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So what is the Venus-ruled boy? Well, that is the Prince of Darkness himself, the God of Light, Lucifer, right? That is like the archetype that represents Libra. And I mean that in a totally respectful, not like, oh my God, you're evil. But I mean like the light bearer who rebels and who is the most beautiful and sang the most beautiful and was like...
I mean, I'm not going to deny, the most beautiful. I mean,
right.
Look at this face.
But you appreciate beauty. And you appreciate the sound design, for example, because your Mercury is in Libra.
Okay.
Your Mercury is the planet of communication, right?
Oh, wow.
But also,
that makes a lot of sense.
How you see the world is everything has to be correctly balanced. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a 9-to-5 job and that you are morally balanced. What you are balanced in is a completely different sphere than other people.
What do you mean?
Right? Like, yes, you will. A lot of people are not willing to work overnights, especially not for 3 years. And as much as you're beating yourself up over that, because you do have this whole God of Light thing going on, and you deserve to see the sunshine, you are also not afraid to be like, this is what I do here, and this is what I do here, and these are things that are separate. The difference between waffles and spaghetti. You are waffles. You can spaghetti. You have all of these ideas that are together, but you know exactly where they go and why the things do what they do. You know why they all do what they do, but you see how they can mangle on top of each other, and you can't always separate them.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because I recognize my full-time 9-to-5 job as just a means to an end. I completely can separate it from what I do here in the business, and that is very true.
But then, even when you break it down to here, you are good at micromanaging, because, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean like you take care of your business because you own all of the things. Like you can go into this and you know why this might be clicking. You know
true.
When
and micromanaging isn't always a bad thing.
I never said it was.
Oh, I know, but I think I'm on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Whereas when I micromanage, for example, with the music festival as a prime example, I have there's different people in different roles, and I understand where people can excel.
Yes.
And so it's not micromanaging where I'm looking over your shoulder and analyzing every single thing that you do, but I can understand how different pieces of a puzzle can come together to make a greater product.
Absolutely. Now that said, your Scorpio in your second house, you let a lot of maybe not so kosher people in to do your work. Where he forgives people and like, oh, I'm just dancing with the devil. You're like, all right, I'm hustling. What do you got? What's the deal? You know, what are the terms? I'll sign the contract. I'm probably going to drink the Kool-Aid. Just let's figure it out. You have a very, very soft spot for people who are damaged. And everybody's damaged. But you appreciate what everybody has to offer in that. And what it is that they have to say and what it means to say it. And especially with Pluto in Scorpio in your second house conjunct Venus, this is you offering a platform to people.
That makes a lot of sense, because right now,
literally right now.
Everybody who has a show on this network, no one's paying me money yet.
Yeah,
so.
not at all.
You're right. I am like the biggest.
But you own them the minute that they will. They're yours. It is a passion project. You're very passionate about it. You deserve to get what you are owed, and you will. Make no mistake.
Well, in a different way. I'm not actually expecting them to come out and pay me money at certain points.
I know.
But I do expect people to be a team player and help the business at large.
That's a way to say it, Shakur. But that is not how that whole Tupac thing went down, was it? That's real Suge Knight of you.
That's good.
Yeah, no, totally. There are things that actually. Did anybody see that Tupac movie?
I did not. No.
Okay, so there's that. Do you remember the part where he's shoving food into the dude's face? Like, you being greedy. You want more of my food. Don't mess. Okay, this is Venus and Scorpio, man. It's gonna fuck you up.
Okay.
Yeah, no, owns your soul. Does it? You love him for it. Owns your soul.
Man, making me sound very mean in a way.
Didn't you just identify yourself as God himself like 20 minutes ago?
No, not God himself. No, I said I'm Pittsburgh's moral compass, setting the city on a moral...
Completely different.
On a moral track,
totally. Right.
Righteous moral
with godlike qualities.
Right, godlike qualities. Right, that's all. All of these things in your first house means that you think a lot of yourself, but you're able to respond to it. Like your confidence is legitimate, right? You don't say anything without being able to back it up.
Well, I also feel like I know my weaknesses too. I'm someone who
Totally.
I do not. There are certain things I know I'm not good at, and I will tell people I want nothing to do with that. And that's where I seek out help. And I think by me seeking out help and bringing other people in, it creates a stronger overall product.
Absolutely. So then we can move on to your third house, which is your house of communication.
Okay.
In your house of communication is the planet of work. What you do for a living is in your third house of communication. Just saying. But this is also, okay, so you and I actually just both went through our Saturn returns, where you are, this is how work works, right? Saturn in Libra. Saturn in Scorpio is, okay, so if this is my day job, I'm going to double dip and I'm going to sell weed out of the back of the van that I'm also selling tacos out of, right? Like, that's a Scorpio in Sagittarius.
That's a good hustle.
Scorpio in Christine, one more time. Saturn in Scorpio, rather.
Okay.
So that's a Saturn in Scorpio. What we have is Saturn in Sagittarius, which is art is work. Emotional labor is labor. And so the things that we are working towards, we know that we deserve to get paid for, but it's like we deserve a return on our investments, whether they be physical investments or fuck interns, right? Fuck interning, fuck working for free. Like, we have given up a lot of this. It's our turn to get paid back. And that is what we discovered a lot of in the last, from 2014 to December of this last year.
Okay.
And there's been a lot. So also, your house of communication is Uranus, right? Which we said before is the planet of surprise and is enlightenment, but enlightenment that you may only get in surprise. It is also it is a planet of communication, but it is a planet of technology.
Oh, okay.
It is how you use the technology and what you are capable of using the technology with. And similar to you...
So does that mean more like manipulating technology or understanding the ins and outs of it?
Yes, but also the philosophy of the technology as well.
Okay.
And what
because I'm someone, I don't understand how anything works, but I can use it.
Yeah.
And I am really good at massaging it to fit my purposes.
Absolutely.
For example, with the music festival, I wanted to, the first year, I wanted to make the schedule clickable, but I have no coding background, so I literally just drew invisible boxes over every piece of the schedule. So it was like the crudest way to get it done, but I figured out how to do it.
It's stupid and it works. It's not stupid.
But like this year we did the same thing. We actually had somebody who knew and understood how to actually use the technology the right way, do it the proper way. But we still got it done for the first year, despite not having maybe the skills that should have been required.
Right, but it goes back to how you learn, and you learning in a way that is not like, it isn't, neither of you have childlike curiosity. You are, okay, I know how to study. I know exactly how to look this up to get the answer that I need to go move forward. I don't necessarily, like your IKEA table, you're an IKEA table person, but there might be a couple of screws missing. Is it done? You're fucking welcome. Right.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah, because I wouldn't get it. He might get it more perfect.
Right.
But I'm going to get it done at least, and then I'll move on to something else.
Exactly.
Yeah, he would probably finish it way faster than I would.
Right. But you wouldn't be missing any pieces.
No.
And you would probably have carved your name into the side in a really beautiful way, and you had to match it on all four corners.
That makes a lot of sense.
Say,
actually,
Jay did this.
Exactly.
That does make a lot of sense, because when I plan, a lot of times when I plan an event, I'm really the spearheader of a lot of events, I leave a lot of things in the background, and there's people behind me scrambling to get it done.
Absolutely.
To make it work.
Right.
Okay.
But how you get to those people is also very interesting.
I'm interested to hear that, yeah.
So your house of home and the way that you build things around you is in Capricorn. And that's a very good placement. In Capricorn, your fourth house, you understand hard work to all mean work, but it's never dull for you, and you won't let it get dull. And you tell me now that you beat yourself up because you let it get dull and be there for so long. Your motivations are about physically getting shit done. Right? It's not about like some people are really good at Da Vinci's helicopter of I have these big ideas that are not going to be understood for 400 years, but they're absolutely right. You have, this is how it goes. Ta-da! I made it for you. You're welcome. But also your Neptune is in Capricorn. So you have Mars, which is your planet of war and aggression and anger and how you express that anger, which is, people don't know that you have an emotion about a thing, because why would you? Because it's not gonna get anything done. Now, if you have a reason to present that emotion to someone, you are going to fucking Tupac the shit out of them. Is what I'm
He's going to Tupac the shit out of that email.
You are gonna this is your Suge Knight tendencies, my friend. You don't. But okay. As long as somebody is doing their work and doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, you don't care what the fuck they are on, or what crazy whatever. However they're treating themselves, are they doing what they're supposed to do?
Well, I don't know if that's true, because I tend to care a lot about the people that surround me.
Yes.
And then I care about their well-being.
Venus in the second house, absolutely you care about their well-being. And you care about them on very deep levels, which is conjunct with your Pluto. Pluto is sex, death, birth, and rebirth. Okay. And you have that in your second house. So you recognize...
Has that too?
Well, everybody has Pluto, but you have yours in your 11th house, which is your friendships. He has this in his 2nd house, which has to do with like familial relationships, but also like making your own familial relationships. You don't have you have people that fall in love with you a lot. You don't have people that fall in love with you so much as you have people that out of necessity love you, and you made yourself a necessity in their lives.
Sounds kind of sad in a way.
No, I don't mean it to be. So please don't take it from me that way.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying because like if people love me because they need me, not because of me as a person.
Because you as a person make it important that like you are useful.
Okay.
And people know that they can count on you and that they can call you and that you will get the shit done, like all of this shit in your Capricorn.
You are reliable.
You're reliable. Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that is a good thing.
Yeah.
That's
but you
very
also
important.
give leeway to people who aren't necessarily as reliable as you. Don't expect anybody to be God. You're already God.
Well, that is very true. Not about me being God. But
I don't know.
It is true about me. No, I don't. I am very hard on myself, and I have very heavy expectations of myself. But I understand that they aren't always realistic.
Right.
And I don't expect other people to have that same level of expectation on themselves. I don't think it's reasonable. And I always feel like I don't want to judge someone else, and I don't feel like I do. Like I do judge myself. And I don't know. I just don't think. I don't expect other people to hold themselves to the same level that I hold myself to.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that that's me putting anyone else down.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah,
By no means.
But it is something that I feel, and I guess it's the way that I see the world. Like people will always say, it could be worse, and I always say, well, it could have been better.
Yeah.
And that's always my response because. Yeah, it could have been worse, but that's, to me, making an excuse for a shortcoming.
But then isn't the next thing you do better? Don't you
It
do
is.
something
Yeah,
with it
and that's
as
the thing.
opposed to like just shitting on yourself for it?
That's absolutely true because I think people who would go with my mindset, they would just be depressed and maybe not do it, whereas me, that is motivation to do better. If I'm upset with the way things happen, like I need to hound myself for a few weeks because I'm so upset about it. But that, to me, that drives me. Like, for example, with my job and having a job that I don't like, to me, you're supposed to be miserable in a job. Like people say that, oh, you should just be happy you have a job.
Right.
To me, that's not, to me, no.
That's bullshit.
No.
That's horrible. To me, you're supposed to be miserable because that misery will drive you out of that job.
Absolutely. Well, so, but your 6th house in Pisces gives you like a very romanticized view of things, and romanticized because you have substance to back it up. How many people have failed podcasts? All of them. Like,
well, this could have easily been a failed podcast.
This could have
Any
been.
of them could be.
But
it's just I refuse to give up.
Exactly. And that is part of your 6th house being in Pisces and your Jupiter in Pisces is because you understand that things take time. And where your luck comes from is not just being patient because you're not patient. That's not what I would say.
No, he is not.
But it's like, okay, I know that I did this work and I know that I have accounted for what is coming to me. But also, people are willing to be more generous with you than they are with other people because you have been generous with them. It's not like a fatherly relationship, I wouldn't say, but there is an aspect of Big Daddy.
Okay.
Right? And it kind of goes back to your God complex, I guess. But in like a patriarchal, like I'm like not in a
toxic way.
Not in a toxic way at all, but it's like a provider, like a godfather. Like, I am here for you. Thank you for this bottle of wine. Also, if you need me to kill that guy, I got it. Right?
But I feel like that also comes because I do ask a lot of people to help and join in with my goal, but I feel like because of that, I have almost a responsibility to help
goals, though, and the things that you ask people to help you with are their goals.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like, you don't go out being like, hey, Aunt Martha, can you make cookies for my little festival?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, bakers and people who like cafes and shit, here are tables open for like, there is a progression, like there is a physical manifestation of the things that you're doing, but you believe in them. You believe in entertainment. You believe in getting on the TV, and that's not crazy to you. Right?
No.
That's crazy to a lot of people. Oh my God, did you see my son? He was on the news today. Like, how many people's parents have that? Meanwhile, when's the last time your mom listened to your damn show?
Which is funny because I go into things like that with the opposite mentality. I feel like, and one of the reasons why I feel like this organization has succeeded is because I've never viewed and I've never allowed anyone else in any interaction, even if it's just me talking to someone on a one-on-one basis, to view this as anything less than what they would expect from a terrestrial radio station.
Absolutely.
For example, I ran into a business owner at the Funhouse, and someone introduced me to that person, and they used the term legitimate. Like, is it a legitimate radio station? And I went off on them, and I probably killed a connection, but I would rather kill that connection than ever let them for a second think that this is not a prestigious organization that is on par and as important as any of these other businesses. And I did that from the beginning, even when it was in a closet in an attic. But I feel like that mentality has not given anyone the opportunity to put this in a second class, where I look at a lot of other organizations that are in online media and they're begging for attention from other media, traditional media outlets. For example, the city paper poll. Now, we have been in the running for that with different projects I've been involved in. We actually won with the Pittsburgh Magazine, but I never for a minute went out and begged for votes, and I refused to ever do that.
I noticed that.
And I get in the media all the time. I actually did, because I'm...
Because that shit can get annoying.
Well, I'm also... And I'm talking to people right now about trying to bring in some more programming to the network as we're looking to do some expansion moves here in the future. And I had to come up with a list of media, times that we were in the media. And I've been in the media versus whether it be TV or paper over 30 times.
Yes.
But I never begged for attention. I went out and told them, we're doing this, you should cover it. It was kind of a different approach. And to me, that sends a message of legitimacy instead of a... we're not as legitimate as terrestrial radio. We need that attention. Please pay attention to us.
When people think expansion, they think mushroom. You go every direction. This elevator goes up and out. This elevator goes sideways.
Like you said, he takes care of business.
You take care of business.
He handles shit.
But you also see the value in planting roots and growing up and forward.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because River's Edge is like... on the cusp of just super.
I hope.
No, you can't think like that, God.
No, but that's the thing.
Come on, God.
This isn't hope. You're not at hope. You know. But it's a matter of staying power, which, hey, good for your stamina. Hey, ladies. Or other people, whoever you, I don't know. Just just want to make sure that it's open,
Yes.
I don't want to. But yeah, I think I covered everybody.
Wow.
I think I got all your planets. Because you have this whole big, 3 things in your ascendant.
So based on this information, what would you advise me to really look into next?
Well, okay. So, because Jupiter is in Scorpio right now and your Jupiter is in Pisces, I would recommend that you take time, again, to listen to people who are coming forward, but listen to what it is that they're actually saying. I know that some of these things that are being said to you could be interpreted as hurtful, but what is the don't drink the water at night because it's poison. Well, it's still poison in the day. Like, what is the pertinent information of that sentence is the don't drink the water, it's poison. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Focus on what are the things that are important to, absolutely vital information versus getting secrets, right? Things that you didn't know. Things are becoming much, much clearer than they were, and they're coming back. But, you have the ability to discern what is valid information and not valid information for the word problems that you're facing.
Okay.
Use your ability to do that and not your emotion. Although you're not super emotional, except for that whole Suge Knight thing. But like, it really does take you a lot of time to get there.
Well, it's weird that you mentioned, like, I express my emotion when I need to. And I thought that was interesting because I'm somebody, like on this show, I can be more emotional and I am very enthusiastic and things like that. And I enjoy that as an entertainment medium. But like when I'm on a one-on-one well, I shouldn't say that. If I'm on a one-on-one conversation with someone and I'm talking about something, I am the same as I am on air. But for example, like when I go out, people will try to mention me in the crowd. Oh, Brian Crawford of the River's Edge. And I'm always like, yeah,
right.
No, don't look at me type of a deal.
You have no planets in your fifth house of self-expression.
What's that?
You have 0 planets in your fifth house of self-expression, but your fifth house is in Aquarius, which is the exact opposite on the scale is Leo. What that means is you are the first one to speak up, but you speak up about the quality of the thing and not necessarily your own brand.
Okay, that makes sense.
But your ability to like identify yourself in a crowd is trickier because you're not going for the popularity contest.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's like I always feel it's more important that the network overall is represented
quality
versus
quantity. Versus Twitter shares.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Because I've always like scratched my head about the Twitter shares and things like that. As I had asked people, because one of the things that a lot of people look at nowadays is, what is your following like? How many likes do you have?
Right.
How many followers? And someone said you could buy followers, and I said really? I said, well, will those people then start watching the show? And they said probably not.
No.
So I said, well, what's the point of buying them then? What's the point of having followers?
The numbers is supposed to throw it off to everybody and make it look.
But to me, the content's more important. Are they watching the content, or do they care?
Right.
Because we're sending a message across, and I can get 1 million likes.
Psst, psst, psst. That said, do you really hate? Like you don't want the attention right then, but like, don't you kind of like being able to say, when I'm in a crowd, people know who I am?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I like the fact that I have a name. I want that, but I don't need people's adoration. But I do like the fact that when I say something, it means something because of the reputation that I've built.
Absolutely.
I do really care about that.
And not that they just know you, but that they follow you and that they watch the show. And that
I care that they watch the show.
And they comment. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying.
You care about the quality and not, again, the quantity of the thing. That's beautiful.
It's nice when people be like, hey, that's Brian from River's Edge. And be like, oh, okay, that's cool. He's known around here, huh? Okay, boom. That's just another person added to the following.
Yeah, no, I do want people to know who I am, and I feel like I have something to say, and I want people to hear it. That's why I'm on talk radio.
The first thing that you want people to know in the intro is, tell me a time where you told off an asshole. Like, you want to put everything out there as much, right?
Well, it depends on the show topic, and it depends on the day. A lot of it is
But you want to include people.
And you engage as soon as you go in.
Engage, that's the word.
Yeah,
yes.
You engage the crowd, the viewing, listening audience, and when you come at them, you add theatrics and stuff like that to your voice and stuff, and you bring them in, and it's like
that's
boom,
where we
because
are.
that's how you're supposed to do and stuff like that. As soon as it comes in, boom, bring them in.
You know how to turn on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just like if we was at this, well, it's probably like around here or something. Like as soon as it's time to go, you see that needle moving, like action. Time to go in, So
really cool. Well, thank you, Christine. That was incredible.
Thank you.
So one more time, Sunday at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. at Sparkle Dragon's Magical Emporium. We are going to make a whole day of it. So there's going to be a reception hour, and I'm going to talk a lot about like my ethics and like what I do and how I'm not evil and stuff like that. Then we're
Leave
gonna
that to me.
do...
I'm the one with the Lucifer in my.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say you were. No part of that did I say you were evil, did I? I said there's an archetype. Anyway. So then I will do. So during that reception hour, there will be a silent auction for a bunch of the art that I've just completed. This will be my second art show in 2 weeks. I'm super stoked about it.
Nice.
And we can talk about that. But so silent auction for the art, and that's also going to be like things you can win, like different tickets. There's going to be food.
I like food.
If you share on social media, you can get more drink tickets for less dollars. It's suggested donation. So then we'll do a section for tarot, a section for handwriting analysis, and a section for astrology, what I just did for you guys.
Wow.
And you can choose which one of those readings that you want. But I am going to do it in a public setting, very much like I did with you guys. Like, everybody can see it, so it's not a private thing. If you want to talk about a private thing, you send me a message. We will talk about it. Because I'm doing this for a very discounted rate, because I'm doing it publicly, because I'm being cocky, and I know that I'm right.
Nice.
Actually, I did this in Brooklyn for our debut show was in Brooklyn. It was awesome.
I bet it was packed.
Absolutely. And the very last girl that I read was like, I don't know that all of this totally makes sense. And I'm like, well, I haven't been wrong for anybody else in this room, so why don't you think on it? And I got a standing O.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. It was beautiful. Shout out to Crystal Lake. Those people are awesome in Brooklyn. What was I talking about? What was the last thing I said?
Well, you was talking about everything that you was doing.
Oh, right. So tarot, handwriting, astrology charts, that'll be the 3. And then I will end on, like, prizes people won and, like, a talk back and Q&A. Because when I'm doing the individual readings, I'm not going to open it up to, like, everybody. Like you can ask questions, but, like, I don't need everybody, like, shouting over it. Because this is their readings.
Right. Exactly.
But afterwards, if you've, like, I've got a question for Dave. Did you actually find that girl in the parking lot and blah, blah, blah? Or, like, whatever. Like, we can totally play that game, but we're going to save those questions for the end.
Very cool.
And this is in Beachview.
This is in Beachview.
Just so y'all know, it's in
5
Beachview.
p.m.
Right.
5 p.m., Broadway.
Yep.
2 doors down.
2 doors down from Slice on Broadway.
Slice on Broadway.
It's right
Make sure
off
you-
the Shirza.
Shiras Avenue.
I'm a little dyslexic. I apologize. There's
It's okay.
No worries.
but yeah, it's right off the Shiras T stop.
Yes.
So please come. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right.
Jay, what do you have coming up?
Well, right now, me and Howie have been taking a little break, but we're getting back into the swing of things. Laughs at the Landing, of course, our 4th installment will be coming up Saturday, August 25th. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Our man Don Arner is going to be headlining this one.
Nice.
And we're bringing back A. Loke, and then we're going to bring back a female comedian into the mix. I won't name her name yet. Because we don't know yet, but
Pick me.
but I'll mention it next week though.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
I will be back Sunday night, 7 p.m. right here, riversedgepgh.com/live, and on the Facebook page. I'll be talking about Mike Turzai, the Speaker of the House here in Pennsylvania, chiming in on the PWSA situation, PWSA people's situation here in Pennsylvania. I may get back into this California thing. We missed that today, and
That's
I'll also be talking about a few other things, including some interesting newspaper headlines. Tim Wolfson of Music Night on Jupiter and Music for MS. He'll be coming into the studio to talk about Music for MS, so definitely tune into that Sunday. Also, tomorrow I'll be at the Millville Butte Brew Fest. Alex Clemens will be there for the first session. I'll be there for the second session playing local music that you can hear at riversedgepgh.com. Thanks so much to Christine Marie for spending her time with us this
Thank
Thank you
evening.
for reading our.
For Jay
portion.
Cooper,
Yes.
I'm Brian Crawford. This is River Talk. This is the River's Edge Radio Network, riversedgepgh.com, Pittsburgh's voice for local music.
Later, bitches.
Bye. Thank you.